हो सकते हैं, maybe. And Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam Mataji. I know you are listening, so that's good. It's great to have you. And Anil Prabhuji is also there with us. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. So good to have the regular ones. And I was speaking with Kana yesterday. So I'm not sure whether he will able to make it today, but let's hope so. And I'm just waiting for the live YouTube confirmation. Shed my slow. Remember, we were discussing here with some devotees regarding the Shri Isoupanishad and what else we should do afterwards. And it's a great feeling. Okay, we are live on YouTube, which is great. And let's. Hare Krishna. So mantra 18 mantras, and we are on mantra 16. We have almost covered everything. There are few things from the devotees, senior Vaishnavas purpose, which will be great if we will cover that today. This is all due to the mercy of Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada. Let's do a quick lecture and we shall resume. अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानशलाकया चक्षुरुश्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सवादूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमस्तुते तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुतेवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण
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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे शिल प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु
जय
महाराज की जय जय
जय
जय श्री राधे श्याम Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees to this session of Shri Shubhnish, where we've been discussing Mantra 16. So, just a very quick overview of what we have done so far. We started with the Om Purnamada Purnamidam, that Krishna is Poon, and because we have emanated from Krishna, we are also Poon in quality, which is Satta Chitta Ananda, not in quantity. The reference of the drop of water and the ocean of water. Then Ishavasyam principle, which is the very first mantra that everything belongs to Krishna, Ishavasyam principle. If we live in that principle, that whatever we have, whatever we get, is due to the mercy of Krishna, mercy of the Guru, then we will live in the harmony. We will never develop self. ego. We will always remember the true identity is that we are just the caretaker of what's been given. If we don't live with this harmony and we think we are the proprietor, we are the owner, then we have seen how this false ego could we misidentify ourselves due to the false ego, the false identity that we are the owner, and we are not even the owner of this body. If you think about it, we can't even control our internal organs, what to say. When the diseases come, we can't even control the external. Like we can't pick the hands, we can't pick the legs. So we understand that nothing much is in our control. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, this material world is all under governed by the three mode of material nature. So mode of goodness, mode of ignorance, mode of passion. Due to all that, the whole material world is going on. Then mantra 4 to 18, that Ishwar could be understood by spiritual vision, and the spiritual vision comes from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So we try to understand the Shastras in the association of devotees and in the guidance under the guidance of a guru, a spiritual guru. 9 to 11, right and wrong. Vidya, the understanding, how to understand Ishwar. So we have discussed that as well in three mantras. Then following 3, 12, 13, and 14, very similar parallel comparisons, right and wrong, upasana, what to do, what not to do, and it's in gradations. And this is the beauty of Vedic culture, that everyone is accepted, everyone is welcome based on where we are. So Krishna has even said it that if you can't understand the highly intellect, then go for karma kand. No worries. Just don't do vikarma, which is a negative karma. Even if you do karma for the sake of benefits, go for it. Even if you will worship, if you go to the temple for the benefit which are material, go for it, even if that's yours. And even in the if devotee congregation, when we preach, we always say, try to bring everyone to the temple, nearby temple, always visit. And if the person is on material level so much that they say, oh, well, I need a job, I need a new job, I need a life partner, I need kids, my health is gone wrong. If you will go and pray, will it help? And we also say, of course it will help. That's because Krishna has said it that even if you will pray to the demigods, then those wishes will be fulfilled, and I'm the one who will help demigods to fulfill your wish. So even if that's the standard, then we go for it. So mantra 9, it says that this is good, this is better than that. What's better in 10, 9 is comparatively not better in 10 versa. And the similar thing, what's good in 10th mantra and 11th mantra, something is even better. This, do this. If you can't reach to that level, then follow the one below that, or follow the one below that, or follow the one below that, wherever we are. Krishna has said that you can get yourself engaged in devotional. And this is what Srila Prabhupada did. He never excluded anyone. Anyone, whatever the intellect, whatever the background, rich, poor, and Prabhupada said. So Prabhupada's one of the Prabhupada's direct disciples said that Srila Prabhupada never ever differentiated anyone on any basis, and that was the quality I really loved about Srila Prabhupada, that he accepted everyone. And then somebody said, "But how is that possible?" And then the reply was, "Of course that's possible because he used to see everyone as our true identity, which is the soul, that everyone is a devotee of Krishna. And if we are a devotee of Krishna, then there is nothing which is stopping us to connect to each other. But when we see others due to the background, due to the professional background, the cultural background, or maybe the bank balance, then the differentiation. But all these are material things. But when Prabhupada used to see everyone as a soul, something beyond the body, how we appear, something beyond. And each and every soul is, like what we said, Om Purnamada Purnamidam. So everyone has emanated from Krishna. Every soul has come from Krishna. Hence, we are part and parcel of Krishna. So regardless how we appear, what our background is, we can accept anyone. All these religions, what the name labels we do, even in Hinduism, these are given by some for reference. But otherwise, the religion itself, the culture was a Sanatan Dharma. And Sanatan Dharma. Dharma is true identity, as we said. So this is a very crucial point to remember. When we say dharma in Sanskrit, it's not hot, and that's the dharma of fire. Why? We never, and we have seen it. It doesn't matter how much money, fame, name somebody got in this material world. We never get satisfied with that. And somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, why does that happen? Prabhupada said, well, of course, because if you're thirsty, it doesn't really matter how much food you get it. You're thirsty, you need water. And because the thirst of the spiritual spirit soul is Krishna, the devotion to Krishna. So if we, because we are spiritual and we try to enjoy ourselves materially. So materially doesn't really matter how much we get. We will never get satisfied. Why? Because we need spiritual taste, and that comes from spiritual sadhana. Hence, we need to understand how to do upasana. That's the essence of mantra 12, 13, and 14. Moving on to 15, 16, once we will do upasana, we pray to Krishna, and then based on that prayer, we'll request Krishna to reveal himself. And now, what happens after that? Any question or any discussion point so far? Any realization would like to share? This is if you haven't already, I'll request you to print this, put it on the wall, and maybe check every day. Reason being, we consider ourselves a body, and this is what is consist of a body. Panch Tattva, gross elements, and then knowledge acquiring, what we call Gyan Indriya, then working Indriya, Karma Indriya, then mind, intelligence, false ego. So these are the item we call 18 items. These are the 18 tattva. Of course, most of the people have only heard of Panch Tattva. This Panch Bhut is what the body is made up of. But Bhagavad Gita explains even detail. And then when we go even further, we understand Pradhana is Prakriti, and Pradhana is a concept. But let's say this is a soul, if I will put it very loosely, but for our understanding for now, soul. 18 items, and then we go behind it. But object of senses, what we how we interact with material body, these are five. And then the results, when our senses interact with these object of senses, then what happens? Right? These four things happens. This is the way things. Of course, there are many more gray shades of these. Some desires could be. Uh, all right, we will discuss that. But before that, let's hear from Ajay Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please.
Prabhuji, are you sharing a first slide? Because I only see the first slide here.
Haribo. So the slides not moving. Okay, all right,
No,
Prabhuji.
I still see the first slide, unless somebody is saying other slide.
You no, you're right, Prabhuji. I've just checked that. Okay, let me just stop sharing and share back again. Because there is a viewer, I can check that as well. And in that viewer, you're right, it is still okay. Let me check now. Hare Krishna, it's not moving. Okay, there is a solution to that, I think. Let's try. Hopefully, Prabhuji, now, yeah, now it should be okay. Hari Om.
Yeah, now yes.
Now
Yes,
the other slide is coming.
yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Prabhuji, for raising that. Not sure what happened. Maybe the internet glitch.
Yeah.
It wasn't moving forward, but I had to restart. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is the slide, and this is a slide where I said that we should all have it printed. Reason being, so even though we say that we are not this material body, but most of the time we consider not only us, everyone. If you ask anyone, who are you? What are you? Most of the people will just point towards their body, even though the way the language we use, if somebody will say this is my left hand, we don't say this is me, we say this is my left hand, right? It's like when we say this is my notebook, this is my notebook. The notebook is not me. Similarly, this hand is not me. This is my hand, my left hand, my right hand, my eye, my ear. We always use my. And if you think this body, we also say this is my body, or we say this is somebody's body. But we never, the language itself makes it very clear that this is not us, but this is ours. But because this is what most of the people identify themselves with, it's very important to understand this body. And if you see this in this, so let's repeat a few things we shared. Gross element, panch tattva, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And yesterday I was doing well, yesterday and this morning as well, I went out to do yoga. I'm in Delhi at the moment. So I went out to do the yoga in a temple. And then one of the Prabhuji who was teaching, I asked him a question about the mudras he had in his hands because his mudra was very different. Usually we sit in Gyan mudra, but his mudra was different. So I asked him, and he explained me that 5 fingers we have, including the thumb, 5 fingers we have, they represent 5 tattva. And he mentioned these gross tattvas, panch tattvas, which was very interesting. And then he said, based on how the body is reacting. So if somebody has a fire element, like sometimes we have gas, gas is actually wind. Sometimes when we eat a lot of food and we're feeling very heavy, that's earth element. Then he said we should sit in this mudra and that will give us relief. Similarly, we discuss it further. So the importance of Panch Tattva, that's the very first, the gross elements we have. Then Gyan, which is knowledge acquiring senses. And we know these very well. Then working. So Jnana is how we perceive the world. Without them, we won't be able to interact. But working is when we do the karma, which organs, which senses will get in action. Then we have the subtle. So these are the gross elements. These three are subtle. Sukshma. So man, buddhi, ahankar, mind, intelligence, false ego. And then we have the pradhan, which I said for now we can say soul. But if you see on the left hand side, we also have spirit soul, super soul. So we say we have 2 souls within our body. So I have my own soul, you have your own soul, but both of us, all of us, got a super soul, which is the presence of the Lord. And that presence of the Lord, what we call Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So there are 3 Vishnus, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Then then we have the Shirodakshaya Vishnu is present in everyone in the form of super soul. And I will mention another thing. I found it a bit funny when we were doing yoga, and I've been doing yoga for a long time, but I always love to go out, join yoga with someone, and I was there on one of the yogas because every time you go, there are so many asanas, and I always learn something new. And this time, a few other things, but one of the asanas, Prabhuji said, "Okay, do this," which I could manage to do because I've been practicing, but some others they couldn't. So he said, those who could not, you do Vishnu Asan. Now, I didn't know Vishnu Asan. And then I thought, wow, I was very intrigued what Vishnu Asan is. Then I looked at others, the way the way Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lay down on the side. Everyone lay down way and just lifted their arms on one side. You do it on both sides. So whichever side it is, you will at the same time you lift your arm and you lift your leg. And I thought that it's so interesting. In our yoga, the names of the yogas are based on the philosophy we have in our culture, Vedic culture. That Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is, they of course they didn't know the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, or at least didn't mention it. But when they said Vishnu pose, Vishnu yoga, Vishnu asana, then they did Garbhodakshaya, Vishnu's position, and then they'd exercise that. And this is the way we Machendra, Manduk, they all are the name of the animals or birds. And based on that, our Rishi Munis, they kind of invented these, which of course we still follow. So I found very interesting. So I thought I will share that. These elements, so this is what we have: gross element, then we have the subtle elements, then the objects of senses, how we interact with the world. And so important to understand the whole life we interact with material world, and because of these interactions we do so many things. If we don't interact, you will see, if somebody will just go and live in the cave, it's very easy for someone to say, oh, I don't get angry, because you don't interact with the world. Because most of the time we get angry when we interact and somebody doesn't do what we want them to do, or somebody do what we don't want them to do. And that's the way we get angry. So when we take the objects of senses away, then the interactions go down and it's much easier to control ourselves. But what Prabhupada said, that we cannot control the objects. Of course, if we can, good. Like don't go to the pub, don't go to the, for example, loud music if that's going to disturb. If you can take the object of senses away, great. But there are a lot of other things which we can't. For example, we need to go to the office, kids, they need to go to the school. Now, whatever happens in this office, whatever happens in school, we can't get away with it. So what we need to do, we need to engage such a way, we need to interact with such a way, because when we interact, these four things happens. Pleasure, we will like it. Pain, we will not like it. Desire, because we like it, we want to have it again. Because we didn't like it, we don't want it again. We hate it, right? So somebody will, so especially the kids, they are very good in saying that. You give them bitter gourd or something else which they don't, maybe it's sour, very sour, they don't like it, and they will say, I hate it. I always say hate is a very strong word, but they use it very, very casually. I hate this. So why? Because you already have some experience of that. How did you get the experience? Because you had some object, like a vegetable, like a song, like a movie, like a cricket. Something was there which interacted with our senses and we didn't like it. We developed these. And these are the dualities. Rishi Muni says we need to come off, beyond, above. We need to transcend that. Hence, they are called transcendental. Devotees will develop transcendental qualities. What does transcendental means? That we will transcend, which means we will go away, we will go beyond, we will go above the three modes of nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. And again in the grades, if you are ignorance, we will say, okay, at least get into passion if you can. If you're passionate about something, at least don't do the ignorant things. But if you are passionate about something, then we'll say, okay, now get sattvic. Don't be hyper all the time. If you need to be passionate because you are in sports or you need to deliver a lecture, great. But don't just be hyper all the time. Be sattvic. And once you are sattvic all the time in Satguru, then go what we call Shuddha Sattva. So Shuddha Sattva is beyond mode of goodness. That Shuddha Sattva is the true identity. When we do things, not because it's good, we do things because that's our responsibility, that's our nature. Like the fire will not think, oh, I need to burn this person so I become warm. No, fire's nature is to burn. whatever will come. And now it's on to us that we use that fire for cooking rather than burning house. Similarly, we need to control the more of passion and such a good. But if you understand this, we understand ourselves better. And that's the beauty of Vedic culture. We understand ourselves better, and then we will go beyond it. We will become much better, much calmer. So we have, okay, I think we went to Radhesham Prabhuji as well. We have seen these flow charts. Very, very briefly, I will flick through the relationship of the Lord and devotee. We have seen them in detail. So if anyone has missed, then feel free to check on the previous recordings. If you can't find it, let me know. Now, this is what we have already discussed, but the way Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji does, each and every, the important word in each and every word from the shlokas, he stress, emphasize, and explain it further. So, Vyuha Rasmin, beyond Brahman is Bhagavan. So it's again what we are saying beyond. So we want to go beyond Brahman. Again, what is Brahman? Brahman is when we get rid of miseries. We just don't want to get misery. We don't just want to get rid of miseries. We want to go beyond it to get the bliss. So there is one happiness which we think is a bliss, but that happiness is actually the lack of discomfort. That's one kind of comfort, that we don't have discomfort. But then going forward, what we do have is what we do have is the bliss, where we get to the position where the dualities doesn't really matter what we have, doesn't really matter what we don't have. We are always blissful. So our circumstances, they don't affect us. And that's why it is. Then we want to go to the Bhagwan. Kalyanatama, Bhagwan is the most auspicious. Kalyan, most auspicious. We said Mangla Charan. Mangla is another word. We do the Mangla Arti in the morning. Auspicious in the beginning. Poshan. Poshan is another very familiar word in Hindi. Poshan is somebody who looks after you. Who looks after? The Lord looks after. But whom? Devotees. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita again and again and again that my devotee never falls down. So the only thing we need to do is to become the devotee. Who is a devotee? Then, like what in our Prahlad Maharaj said it to his friends, that whoever does 9 forms of bhakti, and what is the first one? Listening. Well, we all are doing it, and we do the kirtan as well. So the simplest way to become devotees is just to listen about the glories of the past times. And when we listen, we will definitely get to the next level. We will start doing the kirtan. A lot of time we do the kirtan, and when we begin sometimes with Srila Prabhupada's Radha Madhav. That's a part of kirtan. When we sing along together, we did the Mangla Charan at the end. We did Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That becomes kirtan. So we get rid of all those negativity by using this, by becoming what we call sadhak, practitioner. So we are practicing sadhaka, practicing devotees. So sadhaka is practitioner who is practicing devotee. We are not realized devotees. Kanisht, Madhyam, and Uttam. We are not Uttam, like what's supposed to be, where we have only prema and bhava for Krishna. We don't have that. But we are practicing. So we are working on it. We are work in progress. And Krishna accepts that as long as we don't pretend to be something which we are not. Soham Asmi. This is a great, and Mataji did say, and Mataji, I'm working on it. Hopefully, we'll have a separate session on Aham Brahmasmi. I know you mentioned the Mahakavya. I thought it would be great if I will pick all the 4 and maybe just explain one, because all the 4, they more or less mean, they are different words, but they point to the same thing. So I'm preparing something. Hopefully, we'll share that soon. We will have one session very soon on it. So how the living entity is one yet different from the Lord. And this is the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. Because remember what we said, that everyone has their philosophies. Ramanujacharya ji, Madhacharya ji, Vallabhacharya ji, Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji in the beginning. And of course, to start with Gautam Buddha, they all, when they came, they had, like every company has a tagline. They had their philosophy defined, and then rest of the preaching followed that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji, which later became Gaudiya Math, and ISKCON is indeed part of Gaudiya Math, because we all are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's, devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's. It's a Bheda Abheda, Bheda Abheda, right? Achinta Bheda Abheda, which means at the same time, simultaneously is the word which is not here at the moment, but simultaneously we are same as Krishna and we are different as Krishna, different to Krishna. But the way we understand is the, like, a drop of water is same as the quality of the chemical composition is same as the water in the ocean, but at the same time is different. The favor of the Lord sought by this prayer is fulfilled in pure devotional service. So everything, if you see para 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and at the end 8, it goes systematically, and right at the end where we say that Prabhupada is explaining that if we live our life this way, then slowly, gradually, we will reach to that point. So Bhagwan is Kalyana, Bhagwan looks after everyone. That's the reason devotees never ever get anxious, because they know Krishna is going to look after whatever will happen. It's Krishna's mercy, Krishna's ascension, Krishna's confirmation is there in that plan. Hence, devotees will always be happy. And of course, Krishna is a person. So Srila Prabhupada didn't only say God for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada used the word supreme personality of Godhead. Because all the demigods, if you think in terms of hierarchy, it's not actually terms of hierarchy, but just for our understanding. If we say all are demigods, or we say Devi Devta, again, demigods are not like what the Christianity understand. But we don't have any word in English. So for that English translation, we just use the word demigods. But Devi Devta. So Devi Devta, they're different than Bhagwan. They get the powers from Bhagwan, and those power from those powers they fulfill our desires. And a lot of Puranas they have confirmed it, and at the same time in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said it directly that if you want to pray to the demigods, go for it. And I am the one who fulfill your desires. By the means of the demigods, you will pray, and I will support you. I will solidify your trust and the faith in your chosen dear demigod. This is what Krishna has said. So there is no all the demigods are there, but Indra, all that hierarchy. Brahmaji is the father of Indra. If anything goes wrong, he goes to Brahmaji. If Brahma not fix, Brahmaji will go to Shivji. Shivji cannot fix, then they will go to Vishnu, who is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and there is a mention to see Mahavishnu only once, because usually no one goes to Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu did something, so Krishna had to take Arjun to see Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu said that I wanted to have your darshan, Krishna, and because we also say Nar Narayan. Arjun and Bhagwan Krishna, they also symbolize Nar Narayan, like in Badri ashram, Badri Narayan. So Mahavishnu wanted to have the darshan of both, and that's what happened there. So Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gopi Jana Vallabha. This is a beautiful prayers. And remember, we are doing these 15, 16, 17, 18, these four verses, they're all about the prayers. This comes from, and I think at the back we had it. Yeah, Brahm Samhita. So Brahm Samhita is where Brahmaji prayed to Lord Krishna, and it's a beautiful at the time of Guru Puja. So we have Mangla Arti 4:15, but then we have a break, and at 7 o'clock in Hare Krishna temple we have Brahm Samhita shloks, the prayers which Brahmaji did s- for Lord Krishna. And that's what Prabhupada is saying, that if you understand that, he said it very easily that there's a word, yeah, Adi Purusha. Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. This is what Brahmaji is saying, and it's a beautiful series of verses which become the part of Brahm Samhita. We don't have full Brahm Samhita available, but whatever we have, they are glorious. And some of the devotees who sing so well, and it plays a lot of times, and those devotees who remember as well. If you haven't, then if you just put Brahm Samhita on YouTube, I'm sure you will find Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. Adi Purusham, you are the first, like it says, the first Papajayat. You are the first one. So everyone comes from you. Soham, so the Soham. What it says, oneness in quality may be emphasized at times, but that doesn't deny difference in quantity. That a lot of places it says we are one, and that's where a lot of uh, Advaita, because the Advaita itself, the word means no two. So this is again the beauty of our sages. Adi Shankaracharya ji never said that I am I am same as God, right? I'm God. I know a lot of Adi, well, Advaita teachers sometimes they say I am God, but basically, well, if they are saying I'm God just that, then this is wrong. But if they say, I am God and you are also God. So basically, what they are trying to say is that we are part and parcel of God. And of course, what they say that we can do meditation, we can do Gyan Marga, and we can reach to that level where we can realize that we are God, which means we can realize that we have the quality of God, which is Satchit Ananda, which everybody agrees. However, sometimes people don't understand it or people don't portray it nicely and the conflict happens. But there is no conflict. It's just a way. It's been said that it's not that there is only one. It says there are no two. There are no two, which means Krishna is the only one. And mm, Bhaj Govinda is by Adi Shankaracharya ji. He prayed Krishna in that beautifully. Hare Krishna. So we in quantity we are different, but quality Satchit Anand we can certainly realize in his. And Ravi Prabhuji's background is coming. We can hear Krishna is the soul.
Krishna is calling me.
Hari Bol. So for everyone's benefit, Ravi Prabhuji has a beautiful daughter, and her name is Krishna. And Prabhuji, you're so lucky that Krishna is calling you. We all want Krishna to call. And that's what these mantras says, 15, 16, 17, 18, that Krishna will bestow his blessings on us. So we have seen this. Krishna is the source. We have discussed it. There are many more examples being given. Durga Sangami Tika. This is a reference in purport. In purport, Prabhupada didn't go in detail, but our Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji has explained it. So the way we say Atma Jnana, Ishwar Jnana, Ekatva Jnana. So Atma Jnana about the soul, but once we understand the soul, then we understand the Lord. That like what we said, soul and super soul. What's the difference? And Ek Tattva Jnana, like what we said it in the beginning, that there's no well, the only dissimilarity is the quantity. Otherwise, us and God, the quality, we are same. So we need to be as happy. We need to be as conscious, and we need to be as eternally conscious, blissful, like Krishna, which we can if we spend more time. Of course, Krishna says there are many more, so many more ways of doing it. And Prabhuji has explained here the aspect of jnana. So, because the Gyan Marg usually explains that, focus a lot more on similarities. And Prabhuji has explained that if you try to understand what does that really means? Constitution. So, what's the base of it? Oneness denies it, eternality of bhakti. So basically, the background is where Prabhupada has explained that if we just say, "Oh, we are the Lord," or again, the interpretation of the same Bhagavad Gita mantra that a lot of times Advait, some of the Advaitins, not all of them, they say that we are like a river. We are like a river which will meet ocean, and after we meet ocean, the river will disappear. Right? If the river will disappear, and we are river in that example, if we will disappear, we will lose our identity. That means there is no bhakti left in it because we have lost our identity. We can't really do any bhakti. So Prabhuji is saying that this is the adverse effect. If you understand jnana this way, that oneness denies eternity, that bhakti will end because we will not exist anymore. Our identity, because that if we are like that river. Application, hardening of the heart. Hardening of the heart, Gyan Marg, if you usually see a lot of times people focus. And I have personal examples. A good friend of mine, he's mm, very big followers of Adi Shankaracharya's. And the way he interacts in his spirituality is very hard. Srila Prabhupada is like mother to everyone. And if you see all the like our Guru Maharaj ji, they any interaction, any ways, so much compassion. But some of the Advaitians, not all, of course, we can't really put all of them in one basket, but most of them, or most of them you will interact, they are very, very straight, very hardened. This is the way it is. That's it. No, you can't. In bhakti, there are so many ways. And of course, Krishna has given so many ways in Bhagavad Gita. So that's the application. Prabhuji says that what happens and what happens in the destination. Merge, you go to the Brahm Jyoti and end of bhakti. Because in this mantra it says, I want to see your face, which means the devotee is saying to the Krishna that you have a face. Hence, Krishna is a person. Hence, devotee would like to go beyond the merging of Brahman Jyoti. But mind it, always remember Brahm Jyoti itself is very enlightened, very high spiritual state. And we don't have that yet. So we can't criticize anyone, but what we are saying that what mantra is saying, the devotees don't want to stay there, even though the devotees are not there yet. But even if devotees will reach there, they don't want to stay there. They would like to go further. And I will share an analogy and a kind of realization. I was listening something, and somebody mentioned again coming from the Gyan Marg that if we think about what happens after enlightenment and how enlightenment happens. So, for example, Gautam Buddha, he he was doing meditation and he sat down that I will not get up until I get enlightened. And then, of course, he has been doing meditation even before that for many years. But on that night, he decided that's it. Today is the day, or tonight. Tonight is the night. And then for many hours, he did it, meditation, and one moment, just one moment, Shana, it happened. Now, somebody said that, how is it possible that in the previous moment it didn't happen, and the next moment it happened? Now, good question. To understand the examples being given, and these examples are there in Upanishads. I think it's in Kena Upanishad. These two examples, one example is of many other places, but the other example I've heard so far is only in Kane Upanishad. What it says that if you have, so one of the brief example, if you have a lot of cotton, let's say if you have a lot of wood, if you will start burning wood, you will put the fire and it will take some time. Yeah, it won't happen instantaneously. It will take some time. But but if instead of wood you have cotton, and if you will burn cotton, if you remember, if you remember burning cotton ever, cotton burns almost instantaneously. A kind of spark happens, and that's it. Boom, the whole cotton turns into ashes. So it's explained that that's how all the previous karmas they burn in one go. What we discuss in law of karma as well. All the prarabdha karma, or all the agami karmas, the karmas which are about to come, they just go in one go, in one churn. Let's take the other example, which is a bit more, I think, easier to understand. If we are ignorant about something, right? For example, my karmic name is Varun Sharma, and my spiritual name is VP Govindadas. If somebody, like I have many school friends, right? They always know me by my karmic name, Varun Sharma. They might know me for 20 years, and maybe they might know me for another 10 years, 30 years altogether. So for 30 years, they're ignorant that my name is also VP Govindadas, right? They might have heard of VP Govindadas, but they don't know that Varun Sharma is VP Govindadas. One point, someone will tell them the fact Varun is VP Govindadas. The 30 years of ignorance will finish in that one moment, right? Similar example, a speaker is there this actually happened somewhere. A speaker is there, and a speaker, so whenever a speaker comes, and we also go around, so this was a real event, and the speaker knew the name of the person who organized it and who invited. But as soon as he got in, he got to the stage, and nobody introduced him to the organizer in person. But he knew the name of the person in advance. And during his speech, he made the words of gratitude that I would like to thank to this person. And he did it in the beginning, he did it in the middle, he did it right at the end. So if he spoke for 1.5 hours, for 1.5 hours, he mentioned the name few times. And at the end, he said, it would be great if I can meet this person. And then the person who was sitting right at the front of him raised his hand and said, it's me. Now, even before the function started, this Prabhuji didn't know the gentleman who organized. And while the person was right in the front of him for 1.5 hours, he was ignorant that this person is that organizer. So for 1.5 hours, he was ignorant, even though the person was right at the front. But what happened? What happened in 1 second, one churn, as soon as he found out this person is there, that ignorance of 1.5 hours just disappeared in one go, right? Another example, we are sitting in a dark room. For how long? For a year? No, for 1 hour, 1 month, 1 week. Let's say for a year, we are sitting in there. For that long, somebody will come, switch on the light. Years of ignorance could just disappear in one go of knowledge, jnana. This is the power of jnana, right? But Upanishads are part of, most of the Upanishads are part of Gyan Kand of Vedas. So they explain a lot more in Jnana. But when we get to Puranas, they are more into bhakti. Hence, Shiv Puran, Vishnu Puran, Bhagavad Puran, Vara Puran, Ling Puran, they all are full of stories where bhakti will come up. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the importance of jnana, as we have just shared so many examples. And these examples, well, I think one example, the light example I've made, but the light example is actually given in the form of diya and jyoti. It's a, like I said, switch on the light. It basically says that you lit the lamp. There is actually a word for it as well. So from the manner, from Bhaktivedanta manner, you can do a course called Bhakti Life. Once I was a facilitator, I delivered that session, I think 8 or 10 sessions, and there were 6 words I used, and one of them was for this: that when you lit the light of lamp, and the lamp is knowledge, the jnana, the ignorance go away. Again, Om Ajnana Tramandasya. Jnana, the our darkness will go away. Our ignorance will go away. So this is what we can understand here. Before we go further, which I think is the last few points, anyone would like to share anything? Right? Okay. If we have a couple of minutes, I will just mention, especially this slide. On the left, we have Gajendra Moksha, Canto 8 of Bhagavatam. Beautiful stuti. Bhagavatam is full of devotees, pastimes, and prayers. And if you get it, just put Gajendra Moksha, and you will get the story and you will get the prayer this elephant Gajendra does to Vishnu Bhagwan. Beautiful. And on the right, we can see Draupadi, the way she raised hands, that Krishna, only you can. And Srila Prabhupada ji said, the way a child cries for the mother, for the milk, that's how we need to cry for the Lord. Then we will able to meet Krishna. That's kind of desire we need to have. If we could ever get it, we will able to reach it. That's it. That's what Krishna needs. And there are examples. On the left, there are 2 screenshots. Hopefully, we remember both of them from Krishna Leela. Well, the first one is Sudama ji. He didn't even ask. And that's the beauty. Devotees, they don't even ask for themselves. They don't even ask anything. But Krishna gives them. Krishna says, I protect what they need and I deliver what they need. And then right at the bottom, this is when Krishna was little, a fruit vendor came, and Krishna just took all the fruits. And Krishna didn't have money. And it's so beautiful the way it explained. Those days we didn't have money. It used to be a barter system. Krishna, the people used to bring the grains, the wheat grains. And Krishna's hands were so little, whatever he could grab, by the time he will reach to the fruit vendor and he will open his hands, the grains already gone from his hands. He hardly has anything which he could give. And it says that he tried it few times. And everybody was so, when little kids, they do these things and we watch and we really fall in love. The vendor fell in love. She didn't have anything. She was a fruit vendor, like a street vendor we have in India. But she gave fruits. She gave few fruits. She said, "It's okay, Lala." Like remember, in all our gopis there and she said, "Lala, it's okay. You don't need to give me anything. Here we go. Take." And Krishna is taking fruits. And again, Krishna cannot give because of small hands. Krishna can't take a lot because of small hands. But she's giving. And whatever Krishna could take. And as soon as this vendor turned towards the basket, all apples disappeared and filled with the jewelry, expensive, real jewelry. And this is what they say: devotees, they just need to surrender to Krishna, need to have the desire that we want to be with Krishna, and Krishna will do the job. Hare Krishna. Hopefully next time we will conclude mantra 16 and then we move on to mantra 17. But for now, the time is up. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your presence and look forward to see you next time. Hare Krishna.
Hare
With that,
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Srila Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev
Yeah.
Maharaj ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe. Hare
Hare
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dhanvad
Thank you.
pranam to everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you to your presence as well, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Ravi Prabhuji. So good to see you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. And I hope we look forward to see you next time.
Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol Prabhuji. Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna.